Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome into Celtics Now. Michaela Vernava here. No miracle in Milwaukee for the Celtics Tuesday night, but they certainly fought the good fight. Jaylen Brown once again dominated the C's offense, leading the team with 24 points. He has been huge for Boston during their injury-plagued stretch, averaging 15 points in the last 10 games. And all things considered, I'm not sweating the loss in Milwaukee. The Celtics were on a red-hot 6-game winning streak and had also won 13 of their last 17 games, despite playing without Kyrie Irving in 10 of the last 12 prior to Tuesday. And that stretch included a dominant win over the East's first-place Toronto Raptors, whom they'll play again tonight with home court advantage up for grabs. Now, first there was Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and Robert Parrish. Then Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and Kevin Garnett. And now Terry Rozier, Jason Tatum, and Marcus Morris, at least for the past 10 games. Here's a look at the Celtics' latest Big Threes production in the past 10 games, in which they've gone 7-3, carrying the team without Kyrie Irving. Want to now welcome in Darren Hartwell, our basketball analyst. And Darren, I realize a new Big Three is a bit of a stretch, but these guys have made serious contributions. And I'm wondering what you think about maybe the fact that these injuries could be in some way a blessing in disguise, because at this point in the season, you're not usually seeing elite NBA players giving it their all out on the court, whereas the Celtics have had so much success because the guys that are getting a chance to play are really making the most of their opportunities.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. I think that's one of the keys to the Celtics' success is they just try harder than everyone on a night in and night out basis. Maybe not harder than everyone, but their effort is a big reason why they're so successful. You know, that said, come playoff time, I may be worried a little bit that fatigue could be a factor in a long playoff series. These guys have endured an 82-game season and probably played harder and more games than they expected, more minutes than they expected. So that's something to watch for. But, you know, right now, definitely blessing in disguise. They're getting a lot of run and they're getting experience heading into the playoffs. So
a bit of a double-edged sword because at least we've gotten a taste of what these depth players are capable of. When Marcus Smart and Kyrie Irving are ready to come back, does rust concern you at all?
I think it definitely does, and just considering how many lineups they've filtered through, and all of them haven't included Irving and Smart over the past few weeks now, and so. You know, when you're thrown into a regular season game, that's one thing, but when you're going back to a playoff series, especially if it's the second round, maybe against a team like the Cavs possibly, if you're Kyrie Irving coming back and your first game is against LeBron James and the Cavs, that's a pretty tall task. So I think it's unrealistic to say they'll just be, Irving and Smart will be their same selves coming back into the, into game one. But yeah, maybe over the course of that series, you hope that rust wears off pretty quickly.
Well, at least we have been able to see that the Celtics can handle adversity. They have certainly seen enough of it. On that note, let's go to an injury update. Terry Rozier, the latest victim to join the Celtics walking wounded. He did not play in Milwaukee Tuesday night. And speaking of injuries, the Gordon Hayward rehab chronicles continue. He shared a few videos via the Players Tribune this week. Good to see he's doing some jogging without assistance, and not gonna lie, this is impressive. But Darren, keep in mind that video is playing on a loop, so that was just one shot, which still is really impressive, but I don't know, how many tries do you think it took him to finally nail that hoop?
I think it took him a few tries. I think you see the relief that he had after he finally made it. I've seen that look before, so I think it took a few tries.
Well, good to see him progressing with his rehab. And now let's get to the playoff picture with the C's still in contention for the top spot in the Eastern Conference. Some possible opponents for the first round of the playoffs: the Heat, the Bucks, the Wizards, and possibly even the Pacers. I want to know who you think would be the most favorable matchup for the Celtics to take on.
Yeah, I think if I were the Celtics, I would be fine facing either the Bucks or the Heat. I think even though the Celtics lost the other night to the Bucks, I think if the Celtics have at least one point guard back in the rotation, Terry Rozier, I think they'd be fine. They saw Jason Tatum was running point, and they still almost pulled off the upset. Or I don't know if it's an upset, but they still almost won So I think they'd be fine in a 7-game series. Same thing with the Heat. I don't really see the Heat having too many scoring threats, elite scoring threats. I think the Celtics would be fine on offense too. Obviously, you have Hassan Whiteside is a problem down low. Dion Waiters can get hot every once in a while. 7-game series, I think the Celtics would be fine against the Bucks or the Heat.
Well, then who do you think is the team that might give them some trouble in the first round?
Yeah, I think obviously the Pacers, they're kind of above the fray right now, but I think Victor Oladipo is a big problem for the Celtics. He's averaging 33.3 points per game in 3 games against the Celtics, so a big Celtics killer. Of those 3, the Heat, the Bucks, and the Wizards, you got to say the Wizards would be who the Celtics don't want to face. You know, even though they're without John Wall, they just always play the Celtics really tough. They're gritty, and these teams don't really like each other. So even if the Celtics win, it could be a grind them out 7-game series. Maybe someone gets hurt, So I wouldn't.
Can't take any more of that.
I would want to avoid Washington.
So fingers crossed for a matchup against the Heat or the Bucks. We of course do not get to choose, but we can hope. And speaking of hopes and wishes and pipe dreams, word on the street, Kawhi Leonard could be on the trade block this summer. How do you think he would look in green?
Short answer, good. I think a lot of people would buy Kawhi Leonard jerseys. Whether that could happen is another thing entirely. I think the Celtics do probably have one of the best packages to offer the Spurs, but I think that package probably would involve Jason Tatum. And probably involve some draft picks, maybe another good player. So obviously, if Kawhi Leonard is available, you take your shot. I think Danny Ainge obviously probably pick up the phone if Kawhi Leonard's on the trading block. But I think he's kind of in a position of power. The Celtics, have a good core right now, and they're going to have a pretty strong team in 2018 with Hayward coming back. But hey, Kawhi Leonard, he's a transcendent talent. So if the offer's there, I think they have to explore that.
All right, well, we shall see. Thanks, Darren. And whether you love him or hate him, Ray Allen did help the Celtics raise banner number 17, and he is now a Hall of Famer. The C's congratulated him on the achievement via their official Instagram account, and on his own account, Allen wrote, "It's been 32 years since I played in my first organized basketball league, and I never knew it would amount to this. This orange ball has taken me all over the globe, and I will forever be thankful for what this game has meant to me and what this sport has given me." That'll do it for this episode of Celtics Now. Thanks for watching, and make sure to keep up with all your Celtics news right here on NESN.com.